Welcome back everyone. So I'm back down on the boat today and the plan is to start to take the ancillary stuff off the engine block that's already there. So as you'll know, we've already gone through the process of stripping down the donor engine and taking the pistons out, so we have everything that we need ready to go. The next step is to actually take the timing cover and everything off the front of the block that's actually on the engine, remove the gearbox from the rear of the engine as well, any oil pump, fuel filter, all that sort of stuff that's attached to the engine block. And the idea being that we can then create a gantry inside the boat out of timber and use a chain hoist to lift the block out of the boat enough so that we can actually remove the piston that's seized in there and replace it with some of the new ones that we've cleaned up. So let me show you where we are with the boat at the moment, and you can see the sort of job that we're going to do, and I'll let you come with me while we go through the process of stripping down the engine block. Okay, so here we are in the engine bay. As you can see, we've got both heads off. The space there where all the sort of cloth and things is and the bits of timber, that's where we took the wastewater tank out to give us space to get to everything. So we've got a pretty good area now to work in. I've covered over the center of the V there because there's access down straight into the crank and I don't want to get any debris and things in there for now. As you can see, the pistons on this side don't look too bad. They look fairly clean, and there's a little bit of residual oil and things in there, the ATF that we used to unseize them. But if you have a look on the other side here, you can see that piston that's at the top. See if I can come in there a little bit closer. That piston has some serious corrosion on it and it's very pitted. So I wouldn't want to actually use that in a live environment. I think the piston would actually disintegrate inside the engine, which would cause way more difficulty. So the idea today is to remove this section here, all the front of the engine, all the water pump and the pulleys and things. There are some pipes that you can just see along the bottom there for the oil and fuel. And then at the very back here, we've got the connections for our gearbox. We're going to remove that as well. And we're going to actually undo the engine mounts that are down at the bottom there to release it from the engine. So everything then will be free. And the engine block we can start to hoist up so that we can work on it, turn it over and replace those pistons. So let's see how we get on stripping this down. Okay, so there we go. So that's the front strip down. I've left the harmonic balancer on there for now. We need to get a puller to take that off, but everything else is stripped off the front of the engine. So a couple of things to do at the side of the engine here. There are some brackets that are holding some of the pipes on. Need to remove those, get those out of the way. We've got the same on both sides here. You can just about see there's the engine mounts for this side. So I'm going to remove the side ones next, and then I'm going to start moving towards the back of the engine and get the gearbox detached. So, slight change of plan. The gearbox is attached to the back of the engine, as we know. In order for me to split the engine from the gearbox, I need to actually support the rear of the engine because the actual gearbox has got the engine mount to it, and the engine mounts on the front of the engine are holding the front side of the engine. If I just take apart the gearbox and the engine will actually tip backwards and may actually break the input shaft on the gearbox, which is not something that we want to do. So what I'm going to do now is actually build the wooden gantry inside the boat so that I can put the chain hoist on and support the weight of the engine as I start to remove the bolts for the gearbox. That's going to take a bit of time, and it involves a lot of woodwork, and it's going to be a bit crazy. But we'll see how we get on, and I'll let you guys watch as I start to build this thing. Okay, so I guess sometimes my ideas are a bit crazy, but I think this one might just work. Let me show you what I've built and how I've got it set up, and explain a little bit more about what the next process is going to be. Okay, so I've got some 4x4 posts there that are actually anchored down onto the stringers that run along either side of the engine. I've given them a base plate to try and spread that load out a little bit as well. The idea being that the chain hoist that's now attached to it It's a 1-ton chain hoist. Those straps that are strapped around holding the chain hoist up, their braking strain is 500 pounds each. I've got 2 straps on there, both independent but both wrapped through the hoist, so if one gives, the other one should take the weight. Down on the engine block itself, I've done a little bit of research. So the block, the crankshaft and the camshaft come to about 300 pounds. So the idea is I'm going to put some straps underneath the engine itself and then connect it to the hoist. That will take the weight of the engine, because the joint between the gearbox and the engine at the back there is actually where we need to take the weight. We've got engine mounts at the front there, but the engine mounts that are towards the back that you can just about see, those ones are actually attached to the gearbox. So if we were to try and split the two without actually supporting the engine, it would probably bend the input shaft, which is not something that we want. These horizontal bars that are going across, those are actually resting on the actual floor supports as well. They're to give it a bit of lateral protection, I guess, to stop it from going side to side. I've got some bracing on there. I've got some bracing that comes right the way back down there. It's actually hooked underneath the couch there, that is pushed right against the wall. So that should stop it from moving side to side as well. Now, once I get that disconnected, I'm going to hoist it up. I've got some bits of wood already cut. I'm going to put those across those bits of 2x4. I've got a piece of plywood that's going to sit on top of there, and then I can rest the engine onto the frame itself and keep it attached to the hoist as well. So everything should be nice and secure. The last thing I want to do is drop the engine down and go back through the bottom of the boat, because that will cause a bigger problem and something I really don't want to deal with. So everything is now set. The next thing I need to do is connect the straps underneath the engine and then put the engine hoist onto the straps, take the strain off it, and then start disconnecting the gearbox housing. Okay, so give you a quick update. I managed to get the straps underneath the engine and started to take the pressure off the bolts on the bell housing. I took some of those bolts off and it started to come apart on one side, but the other side seemed a bit stiff and I didn't really want to force it. I think there's still a stud in there for one of the battery connectors. So I've left it for the rest of this weekend. I had to pop back home again. So next time I go down there, I need to remove the one stud, and then we should be in a position where we can actually lift the engine out of the place where it is. So in my next video, I'm going to show you what I've been working on today. Today is Sunday. Yesterday I came back from the boat. Today I actually did the other cylinder head, got that cleaned up and replaced all of the valves. And if you haven't seen the video about the electrolysis and using the tank, please check out the playlist and have a quick look at that one, because today I take it out of the tank and it's got some really interesting results. So things are moving ahead with the boat. It's taking a lot longer than I thought it would do, but I am getting there slowly. So thanks a lot for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the button down below, subscribe to the channel, and then you can see more updates as they come through.